with in our next session, we'll start with mailbox, semaphores, and test bench development. So that from Saturday we can start our project on decoder based RAM. Okay. So that's the reason. And after that particular project completing the decoder based RAM, we can again continue with this constraint related problems, right? So this is what I'm planning. Yeah. Now let me share my screen. Uh, is this? Yes. Hope my screen is visible, right? Please let me know in the chat box whether my screen is visible. Yes. Okay. Fine. Now, so here comes your first problem. So let's say if I want to generate a pattern, a simple pattern I'm going to have, I need to generate a pattern, generate a pattern which we want to generate is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on. We need to generate this particular type of pattern using our constraint. Okay. Think about it, come with a particular logic solution. Yes, take your 2 minutes of time and think about it and let me know. Okay, let's see how to print this. We need to use constraints for printing this particular pattern, right? Now, here I'm going to declare a constraint. In this class only, I'm going to write down everything. Okay, so I'm going to have a class and I'm going to declare one array, rand int ARR. This is my array which I'm going to have. Okay. And inside this array, I'm going to have this particular pattern. So inside, first of all, I need to decide the size of the dynamic array. Okay. In our previous sessions also, we have seen, right, size related questions. So I'm going to first of all declare the size of the array. So let's say the size of the array is 10. Array dot size is equal to 10. After giving the size, what I'm going to do is I need to get my pattern. So I'm going to take a for loop. Okay, in this constraint, I'm going to take one more constraint. Let's say constraint pattern. And in this pattern, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a for each loop. For each of a of ARR of I. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to write down ARR of I, which is equal to I percentage 2 plus, I percentage 3 plus 1. I percentage 3 plus 1. I'm going to write down this. So it will basically generate this particular pattern. Now, what is this logic? Let us try to understand. So what we need is 1 minute. Let me add some more slides over here. My screen is visible. Okay, I think it's the previous one is visible. Let me reshare it again. Yeah, my screen is visible, right? Yes. So what we need to have this particular pattern which is being generated. That is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So what I'm going to take is I need to have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So this is my index 0, index 1, index 2, index 0, index 1, index 2. Okay, so this is my index I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2. Okay, and after reaching this index, what I'm going to do again, index this 3, index 4, and index 5. Okay. Now here, whenever what is the logic I've written? So I percentage 3. If the index is divisible by 3, so I percentage 3, whatever the remainder we are going to get, with that particular remainder, we are going to add just 1. So what happens over here? So if I is equal to 0, what is 0 divided by 3? What is the remainder we are going to get? If we are going to divide 0 and 3, what is the remainder we are going to get? 0, right? So we are going to add 0 plus 1 so that we are going to get 1 over here. Now, if we are going to if we are going to divide 1 and 3, the remainder will be equal to 1. Okay. So we are going to add plus 1, we are going to get 2. And here, what will be our remainder? 2. If we are going to add plus 1, that will be equal to 3. Okay. Now, what is 3 divided by 3? The remainder will be equal to 0. If we are going to add plus 1, we are going to get 1. and repeats. 4 divided by 2, it is equal to, remainder will be equal to 2. Sorry, remainder will be equal to 1, and you're going to simply add plus 1 so that you're going to get. Okay, so this is how you're going to. Is it clear, guys? How you're going to generate the pattern? Is it clear? Yes. Now let's say if I want to write down the constraint, let me show you the second one. Let's say if I want to write down the constraint for generating the pattern 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so on. Now, can you try this one? What we need to have? Try this and let me know in the chat box. But I percentage 2, we are going to take the remainder. We are going to take division by 2 and we are going to check. Okay. If index is 1, else odd index 2. Yeah, that also you can do it. Anyways, 1 to 1 to, you can either you can either check if the even index, your value should be 1, or if the odd index, your value is equal to 2. For this, you have two options. Either you can check whether if your index is even. If index is even, you can have the odd value. And if your index is odd, you can have the even value. So in our previous session, we have seen this particular problem only. So if in even index, we need to have odd value, and odd index, we need to have even value. This only we have seen in the previous session also. Right. Exactly. Now, let us see one more question. Yes, we have that type of questions also. So once wait. Okay. Now let's say my question over here is, we need to declare a array, declare a array with the size 10 elements. But here, first half of the array should be in ascending order. First half should be in ascending order, and second half should be in descending order. Second half of the array should be in descending order. Try this one. Can anyone come up with any logic for this? So first half of the array should be in ascending order, and second half of the array should be in descending. Try this. Right. Who like if else. So here we are going to use if else. So since they have given the size, we no need to calculate the midpoint. Midpoint is 5. But if let's say size is not given, okay, then we need to first of all find the midpoint. If the size is not given, then the midpoint should be calculated. Okay. So how to write it down? So let's say if I'm going to declare a simple, sorry, someone was asking something. So I'm going to declare an array, rand bit 3 down to 0. Just randomly I'm taking an array, a dynamic array I'm going to take. Okay. And what I'm going to do over here, here I'm going to declare the array size, constraint size. Let's say the size of the array is array dot size is equal to, let's say, some 10. Okay. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down constraint. The constraint name is range. Now here I'm going to use my for each loop so that I can index through all the values of my array, right? ARR of I. What I'm going to do over here is, if my I value is greater than 0, then I'm going to also check for my size. If my I is less than, so what is a system task which we can use for checking the size? Yeah, you can use ARR.size by 2, or else you can also use the system task dollar size. Anything is fine. Okay. You can use either dollar size or you can use ARR.size. ARR.size by 2. That means you are iterating up to the half of the array. So what you should do over here, ARR of I should be less than ARR of I minus 1. Okay. So what they have asked, first off is ascending, right? So ascending means your present value should be greater than the previous value. So that means greater than. Okay. Else you need to write down ARR of I less than ARR of I minus 1. Okay. So this is what you are going to have. Is it clear, guys? Yes. Okay. So this is how you're going to generate this particular question. Now, let's say if I am going to have this where and all should keep the colon. Uh, Here you are going to keep the semicolon and you're going to close this curly braces. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Now, let's say, what is this question number 4? Let's say if I have this particular constraint. So what is this constraint? I'm going to have rand bit uh, array of 8 elements I'm going to have. Okay. And I'm going to have a constraint. The constraint name here is C. And in this constraint, what I'm going to write is down is for each of A of I. Here, if I is greater than 0, then ARR of I should not be equal to ARR of I minus 1. Okay. And followed by semicolon and curly braces. Okay. So this is what I'm going to have. So what is that I'm going to get? Can anyone tell me what will be the contents of my array? What will be my 8 elements that are going to be present? This was asked in one of one. I don't remember exactly the company name. They've asked this particular question. Anyone wants to answer this? Take your time and answer. Yes, adjacent elements will not be same. That's true. But what do you think the values will be? 0 to 8. Okay. Exactly. 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Exactly. So why 0 1 0 1 0 1? Because you can see over here we have declared rand bit, right? So this can have only two values, 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. That's it. Okay. So this is what the answer. Okay. Is it clear, guys? Yes. Okay. Now, let's say, let's take one more question over here. So let's say if I have a sequence of 16-bit memory operations. So let's say if I have a memory like this, and this memory will have the write enable signal and read enable signal. Okay. So this write enable signal and read enable signal collectively they should be applied for 16 number of times. Okay. Okay. Here you can see bit right. So bit can only have either 0 or either 1. That's the reason the values of this array will be either 0 or either 1. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So this particular this particular memory is going to have this write signal and read signal, and this write and read signal should be applied for 16 number of times. Okay. So this write signal and read signal should be applied for 16 number of times we are going to have. And let me check the question. Where is this question? Okay, yeah. Now, for representing your write, you're going to use the bit 1, and for representing your read, you're going to use the bit 0. Okay. Now, in the 16 number of times we are going to have, right? In the consecutive cycles, what is this? Yeah. In the consecutive, where is this question? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you need to, sorry, someone is asking something. It's visible only. For others, is it visible? The screen is visible? Yeah, it's visible. Once check from your side. Yeah. So we are going to have this operation write, 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 read, 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 write. Like this, we will have 16 number of combinations. So write is basically represented with 1 and read is represented with zeros. Now, what is our constraint is write operation in the 4 cycles. In consecutive 4 cycles, write operation should not be repeated for 4 times. In a consecutive cycles of 4, you can see a clock. If you have a clock in consecutive 4 cycles, write should not be repeated for 4 times. Either you need to have write, 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 read, or else you can have all the reads followed by write. Like this, you can have. If you are generating randomly, you cannot have 4 consecutive writes. Okay, this is our requirement. So for this, we need to have the constraint where write is represented by 1 and read is represented by 0. So this write and read values ones and zeros are stored inside your array. You need to store them inside your array of 16 locations. Okay. So take your time and let me know what can we do. First of all, the question is it clear? Okay, that's great. Try it out. Shall we discuss? Yeah. So what we need to what is our requirement is we should not have this 4 consecutive writes, but we can have this 3 consecutive writes like this, right? Okay, and followed by 1 consecutive read, or else we can have 1101. Okay, like this also we can have. Okay, or else we can have 0001. Okay, if you carefully observe over 1 minute, I think I got disconnected. So we can have either this 310 or 2101 or 0001, right? So, or else we can also have all the read operations. There is no mandatory that write operations can be should be present, right? So we can see over here, we can basically have the sum of these variables, right? So 1 plus 1 plus 1, whatever the sum we are going to have, right? That sum should be less than or equal to less than 4, not equal to 4. The sum should be equal to 4. Okay. So what we can write down here, we can simply write down a for each loop. And this particular thing we are storing in an array, right? So what I'm going to do is for each of array of I. So I'm going to check this condition whenever if my I is greater than 3. Okay. So whatever the array of I minus 3, or let's say we will check for whenever I is greater than 4. So I minus 4. Okay. That means array of 0 plus array of 1 plus array of I minus 2 plus array of I minus 1 plus array of I should be less than or less than 4. Okay. So what is happening over here? 4 minus 4, 0. Array of 0 value plus array of 1 value plus array of uh, 2 value plus array of 3 plus array of 4. Because 4 consecutive cycles, right? So what the sum should be less than or equal less than 4. Okay. Is it clear? So this is how we are going to make sure that consecutive write operations for 4 cycles is not going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Is it clear for everyone? Yes. So that's about our particular discussion of constraint related problems. Can we do this checking only when array of I is 1? I didn't get your question.